Hey everybody, it is Monday, February 6th, 2023, and we're going to do a little ES chart review for the day. If you look at the daily, today was pretty meaningless, I would say. But let's look at why real quick. So if you look at sort of where we are on the daily, we are in this pretty strong bull run, right? And we've taken quite a few really big swing highs here. Now I wouldn't call it a full market structure break because this peak, these are just intermediate swing highs, I would say. This one is the real big one here from August 16th, 2022. So we were sort of on our way, but what happened here was it rejected against an order block that caused this huge downward move, right? A bearish order block. So that caused the most recent rejection. Now, I did a lot of reviewing of this chart over the weekend, looking at the different time frames, trying to figure out what we're likely to do, whether it is go for that market structure break to be in a bull market again, or retrace. If we are going to do that, which I sort of think it is, where is it going to retrace to? And if it's not going to do that, are we going to have a big break here soon? Now, I think it's got to get all the way down and break this pretty big, which this once again rejected. This low is from a hit on an order block way over in COVID days. Anyway, a lot of talk about these big points. We're really at a big swing point here. So my thought is we will do a little retracement and then probably go for the market structure break of this high in the coming weeks. I think it will be something that February goes for. If we look at the monthly, there's that peak right there for August. To me, we're in the second week of February. Well, the first full week, right? I think it's going to be coming back and pushing up for that. But that's just sort of my guess. Let's get to the day today, and sort of look into why we didn't really do much today. Well, we've had these big runs up lately. Wednesday was that one. Thursday was this last peak, and then Friday started the downtrend, the pullback, I guess. I'm gonna mark this 4-hour fair value gap that we're within, but we're also within, and then we have a 4-hour low right here. That's a big target, right? But if we go to the 1 hour, there's also a 1 hour here. And if we go to the 15-minute, there's also a 15-minute there, right? So we have these overlapping gaps, and we actually have some more 15 minutes, but this one I think is the significant one. I'll get to why it's significant as well. All right, So before today started, I had an idea that we would pull back before springing up and going for that actual market structure break. So what I was looking for is it to pull back into an optimal entry position. And let's go to the hour. An optimal entry position for the next leg up. And this is something I found. If you're part of our Discord community, there's a video where a guy laid this out, his fib. You know, we talk a lot about, we talk a lot about premium and discount, and that's one reason to put a fib out there, because when we're way up here, right, Thursday where it rejected down, and Friday where it continued on and that rejection down, we, after having a big rejection, we will expect it to come back into a discount from that move before going back up, right? Like it needs to get some of this sell side back up to spring up if it is to push for another leg up, right? So we use the fib for that. And I used to just use that, the 0.5, right? And as you can see today, we have come down into a discount for that whole range. But one thing in one of the videos from my community, getting back to that, that we posted in the Discord, there's a guy that used these two markers here on the fib, 0.618 and 0.705, as sort of a golden pullback region, an area of entry. And what you would want to do is look for PD arrays within that area for it to come down into and react off of. Now, of course, when it reacts off and goes back up, you still want to look for an entry condition on a lower time frame, on a 1 minute or 2 minute or whatever. But when you're looking at the hourly, you want to wait until it gets down here, which we did get down there today. But it didn't quite, I don't know, it hit this 15-minute fair value gap. I sort of wanted a little bit more out of it to feel comfortable that it was done pulling back. So I did not enter into that move up from today. Sorry, let me make this bigger. When it hit that gap, because I was waiting for it to come back in a little bit more. And you know, it didn't come back into the gap. So I think that's a place to just be aware of and look out for tomorrow or the coming days. Another thing that you'll want to be aware of, if you're like I said, we're at a point here where it almost could go either way. You know, go up for that high after a good pullback, or go up or go down again after it sort of comes back into this drop, right? So that's another thing you might want to do, is look at, once again, let's go to the hour. And if we're looking at this drop, and now it's further, right? When I calculated it this morning, we hadn't gone all the way down there, but there would be the golden area. And then we would look for PD arrays within that area. You know, clearly we have a big gap there, so that could be one. I would really like to see like a swing high or something like that to target. We do have this kind of order block here, I guess you could say. But yeah, this golden area does seem to work out pretty well. So feel free to make a fib, or I would recommend making a fib for that. Here's some evidence that it works pretty well. So if you were to say, when we spiked down on Friday, and remember it came back up before coming back down again, if you were to measure that, you could see that where the bodies respected was within that golden area, right? So it came back into a premium, into a place that we like to see. It can go above, and it could be a PD rate above that. It's just sort of the area that is optimal, right? And then if you come into here, now we're looking at Friday, right? Where it reacted at. It reacted off of, this order block, you could say, potentially this order block, right? But yeah, either way, it's a cool little tool. Sorry to distract from today. I haven't gone into today at all, have I? Well, today was sort of a shit show, and I'm going to get rid of this 4-hour gap here, and I'm actually going to get rid of this 1-hour gap because I don't think they're that relevant. We were choppy all day. This is the 5-minute. When there's choppy action like this, the thing that we got into today on Discord was looking for places that it would pull back and potentially have another run up. I was a little bullish, to be honest. There's a weekly imbalance here that we're going to dig into that a little bit. And I'm actually a little bit on the side of going in the retrace a little bit and going into Friday's drop before dropping down further into that gap and potentially closing the gap and then going up further to do a market structure break. It's a little, just stay on your toes, right? Like, make sure you can pivot quickly because I honestly don't have a great sense of where it's going on the daily and weekly as of right now. But anyway, so when we're in the chop like this, you'll want to try to find entries wherever you can for the runs back. Like I was saying, I felt more bullish than bearish, mainly because of this move here. Broke a high, had some displacement, some gaps. There were some on the downside too, but I just didn't love it, especially since we went into this 15-minute gap and reacted very heavily off of it. So really the only play that I was looking at was that one. Waited for it to come back into here. It did here. Actually entered this, and it did stop me out eventually, but I re-entered. If we look at the 1 minute, I actually re-entered on a good setup here, breaking a swing high, creating a gap, and coming back into it for the real, afternoon run. I guess there wasn't much, but it was a decent little run. I was able to get a good bit of profit off of that. But yeah, I mean, if you look at this, we had a bunch of just random chop in the morning. Came down. I didn't love any of this display. I did love the displacement here, but we didn't trade back into it. So I didn't join that run. This run didn't even break a swing high until here, right? Like, look, there's no swing high all the way down through here. There is one here, broke with a little displacement, and you could say, yeah, but it was very sloppy. So I actually stayed out of that one too. And then when we had a real good displacement, didn't go and break the swing high. So it was just tough. So yeah, like I said, this whole run up, decided to wait till the afternoon to try to get in on it. got in here. I actually got in late and stopped out due to a meeting. It's a bad situation. Could have played that much better. Was looking more for an entry off of that, and it just gave a wick, right? So it was tough. But then this setup, this was probably the cleanest of the day. Right there, break, little gap, right? Come back into it. I didn't get in on this candle. I got in on this one, I believe. But then we saw a good run. I mean, this was about as solid of a run as we had today. Tough day. So hopefully you either stayed out and watched, noticing that there's a lot of wicks, a lot of slippage. So hopefully you stayed safe in the chop. It is rough. It can really wreck an account because there's a lot of false moves, especially if you're watching a 1 minute. A lot of false moves. You go to the 5 minute and the 15 minute, and it's a little clearer, but still, I mean, look at that. Look at the 5 minute. Where do you go from there, right? Like, this looks pretty clean coming down here, taking off, but then it just wicks right down, kills that move right after lunch. Like I said, that looks nice, but then it doesn't continue. The 15 minute, it was very much just barcodey. It did hold this gap for a long portion of the day, this gap right here from this candle, and you could sort of run up when it came and dipped down in it if you wanted, but it's just tight stuff. Anyway, I hope you stayed safe. Once again, join the Discord if you'd like to hang out and chat. I think we have a couple of people in there that are learning a lot and trying to apply it on a daily basis. So hope you enjoy. Talk to you later.